So I'm Mari Erstein. I am on Todd's team. I am buyer specialist for the Fort Worth area. And then we have Gibson. Gibson is on the team as well, and he's buyer specialist for Dallas area. And then we have some people here from Real Geeks. Dylan is going to be leading us. Dylan, can you wave?
Hello.
So he's going to have a mic too. So if you have questions as we go, please ask them. This is a learning session. And we're also going to have you guys share a bit of like what y'all do. So raise your hand if you have a system in place that you feel good about. You don't need to be humble, you can raise your hand. Okay, great, we've got a couple. More or less, okay, great. So the purpose of this is going to be, one, have Dylan kind of give tips and tricks, answer questions that y'all have, but also hear from each other because, you know, we're all doing this, we're all learning, and so those of you who have great ideas and have things that are working well for you, please share them. Please share because other people can learn from you as well. So, Anne, do you mind sharing a little bit about what y'all have done that has worked really well?
Okay.
This is for you.
Thank you, Mari. What we've done that has worked really well is we're not rocking the boat. We take the tools that Real Geeks has given us and we just implement them. Anything that comes down the line, we research it, implement it, and follow it. I mean, we're not trying to color outside the lines. I think everything in here works so well, and it's so easy to use for everyone on our team that there's no point in us going outside to do anything. So I always appreciate new innovations with it.
Okay, great, thanks. And then Nikki, I think you raised your hand as well, right? What's something that's kind of been eye-opening or like an aha moment or something that's working really well for y'all?
One of the things we've started doing in our drip campaigns is we've cut down the chatter on it. We've just started implementing it using links to, for example, market reports. Like there are some really popular areas in our area, so we just create hyperlinks in the images so people can look at it kind of like a function campaign when they get it.
Okay. So really utilizing drip campaigns and taking out, you said the chatter, just like the fluff, the busyness, and really just sending them things that are going to be valuable and useful. Okay, great, thanks. How many of you guys have drip campaigns set up already? That's an automation that you've done. Okay, what has been a part of your drip campaign that has had the greatest response? Is there a email that's been sent out or a text within this first 7 minutes that has really gotten a great response? Or just nobody responds at all? Let me get this to you. We won't be able to hear you.
If I go through and I have a client who hasn't actually responded or anything, I have a text that will just text their first name and a question mark. That'll get some responses as well.
Okay. How many of you had tried that? Okay, a few. Have you guys had the same response? Like people actually then respond?
It's probably about the most responsive.
Most responsive? Okay, so yeah, we do that too, where if they haven't responded to any of yours, you just type their first name and a question mark. Hello? And then they feel pressured to respond. After how many attempts does that text go out to them?
I think it's
14. How about for you guys?
7 or 8.
7 or 8? Okay, so it's down the line a little bit so that you're not hello right off the bat. Good. Anybody else want to share what has been working well for them? Oh, great.
I'll tell you, I pulled up my text string. The first thing we do is when the lead comes in, is probably about 4 minutes after the lead initially comes in, we write, just send out an auto text, hello, and thanks for signing up at northstar.com, that's for my brokerage. Our team is working on setting up your home search, and we use little emojis. I've already started to customize it for you. If you prefer I call you, well, I apologize, that's the Real Geek thing. And then a few minutes after that, we get no response. It says, our team will send daily updates saving you time. We're based here in Rochester. Are you local as well? And boom, that one right there gets me probably a response 50% of the time. Or I ask them if they're local.
Yeah, I find people like talking about where they're from. So they're like, are you local? They're like, yes. Or, no, I'm new. Yeah, it is easy. And it's non-threatening. So you guys are in the intermediate breakout, which means probably you have some basic automation and some basic systems set up. So Dylan is going to be showing us how to take that to the next level. Now, before he jumps into his presentation, do we have any questions that is just like a glaring question you need to answer right now? Yes.
As far as listings and having someone on our team share listings to self-generate leads, is there a link to do that? Because the only ones I have found do not work.
A link to share listings.
With an assigned agent, so they can self-generate leads. The one on the YouTube channel no longer works.
The one on the YouTube channel that works. So I think if I understand you correctly, you're saying that for real estate, they want to share specific listings to a lead, or they want
Publicly, like on social.
Okay, and then any traffic from that link they want to assign directly to that agent versus other agents who go into the
Correct,
pool.
so they can self-generate specifically.
Got it. We do have a feature that does that. Brendan, you want to?
Sure. So there's two different ways that you could accomplish that. So there's two different ways that you can do that. You could either use the agent ID, which is probably what you're referring to with the YouTube setup. So I'd be happy to look at that with you after and see why it's not working. It should still be working. Essentially what the agent ID lets you do is configure almost any URL to automatically direct new traffic to your website to be assigned to that agent. New traffic is one of the key pieces there. So if somebody's been to your website in the past, you've already set their browser cookies, so it won't listen to that agent ID if that's the case. But that should do the trick for new traffic. The other way would be using our Facebook ads tool. In that system, when you're creating a listing ad or post, you can just select which agent you want in the drop down.
So there's a question asked earlier, which is who has workflows and who's setting up. Is there anyone who does not set up workflows? Very good. So maybe it would be helpful to just give a brief walkthrough of some of the things that we've been talking about. So if you're curious about doing that, we can walk through kind of exactly how to share out a listing and to make it look like, or to automatically assign an agent. We can do real quick kind of a walk through the drip system, kind of the workflows and some of the automations that are set up there. Are there any other topics that we're curious about? I heard video. Is video messaging? Maybe that's something we want to take a look at together? Yeah?
It may seem a bit basic, but I'm curious on it. Over the last 6 to 8 months, a lot of window shoppers, a lot of just looking, which is completely fine. They're communicating with us through our drip campaigns. I guess the question I have is, if we want to reassign them another drip campaign, every time they communicate with us, it stops it. Mm-hmm. With that type of buyer, I want to keep sending them something either bi-weekly, monthly, based on our communication.
Yeah.
But I don't want it to stop after they keep emailing or texting back. I want it to keep going.
Sounds good. I got a checkbox for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would love to do some more about the videos. Is there a way to do it to where it's not a link to hit, and it's actually a video or a picture or something that has, because we all get texts all the time, it says click here with a bunch of mumbo jumbo, and we're not clicking it, obviously.
Yeah.
And I want them to click it so they see a picture, they see something relevant to the property that we're looking at or something, whether it comes from real leads or from my phone. I'm looking to do something.
Yeah, great question. Not today. I mean, there's ways there's workarounds that we could probably figure out together. But we don't have MMS messages, which is like the multimedia messages sending out from the platform. We just have text-based messages sending out, which is why we just send out the URL.
It's just so long, so.
It is long, yeah. So we could probably shorten.
Yeah,
we could look into shortening the URL for sure. But yeah, it also depends on if they've added you as their contacts. If they have added you as a contact, it'll actually show a preview of the video. Sometimes you receive links from people. It'll actually show you a preview of the website with a picture of the video.
Yeah, or be able to link it and say, even if I'm able to say, click here to see this home, or a video of this home, or video on us, or something like that, but I'm not able to do that.
Right.
Sorry.
You're fine.
We use a ton of video, extremely successful with it, but I would second that. If we could do it via text, would even just be another add-on, because we do it mostly through the email. Today, like I said, it gets tons of click rates, tons of success.
Yeah.
But the preview, right, the way it shows on the email,
Yeah.
would be incredible if it goes up that way via text as well.
Awesome.
Maybe a future update down the road, huh, Dylan?
Yeah, absolutely. Are
Okay,
there any other
yeah.
topics that we want to cover? Otherwise, I'll get started on those few things so we can just kind of revisit some of those.
I try not to waste time running around.
I don't know if this is the appropriate time for this.
Yeah.
I've mentioned it, emailing in. The text messages that go out, like if they have, the ones that interact with them, if they haven't been on, I think, for 14 days, and then they come on, I have like and you may have answered, I have a seller, or he was a buyer, he bought a property, he closed, whatever, so he wasn't on the site for a while. He came back and the text goes out, hi, are you looking for a property? And he texts me back and he says, LOL, I bought from you in Pine Island, and it kind of I felt like it makes me look like an idiot, sending a stupid text like that. And it's because they can't be set up for individuals. Is that something that Real Geeks is working on?
I have a button for you. It's fresh off the press. Yeah,
All
for sure.
Yay!
All right. Okay, cool. Well, I think
Dylan, we have one more.
one more. Okay, yeah.
Kind of in reference to what she was just asking about, we've had several that come back as unresponsive, so it shuts everything off. And some of those we've never even communicated with. It's just starting out like first message out, and it comes back as non-responsive and shuts off the whole system. But I'm also very curious to know, is there a way to bring the notes that we put in the system to the top where we can see them and not have to scroll through the last 50 properties they looked at and see what it was we talked to them last week?
Yeah. I got a button for you.
All right.
All right. Sounds good. Here we go.
Yay.
Let's start with the first topic, which was workflows. So on the left side of the CRM, or if your screen's smaller, it's across the top. This is our navigation, how you get around the stuff. We call it Drip. This is kind of our automation of workflows system. And if you go in here, you can see your workflows. So if you have set these up, this is where they live. It says how many steps there are, how many leads that they're currently on or active on, how many messages have been sent, delivered, opens, clicks, unsubscribes, all that kind of stuff. And if you're into numbers, fine. And if you're not, then just ignore that and worry about it. To add a workflow or create a new one, this is your automations, you click this button. And if you're new in the system, I would highly recommend to just go to the library. That's what this is. And this is a bunch of pre-written workflows from basically our coaches in the system, coaches from Real Geeks. If you have workflows that have worked in the past and you want to add to this content, let me know. We are adding to this library all the time, and it's got a lot of great content out of the box written for you. And if you want to preview kind of what this content is, you just go to any of them, hit preview, and you can see if it's an email, it's a text, when the things are going out. You can take a look at the details and kind of read, what the content of the message is. And if it's something that you want to start with or take use of, you just hit the use button, and then it will create the workflow for you out of the box. Ta-da! There it is, just like that. And if you want to edit any of the messages, yeah, you can do that as well. But just a quick overview, kind of what's on the screen and what you can do here. This, of course, is the name of the workflow, and we can edit it by hitting rename. So if you want to rename it to something different, you can. And then I was asked earlier about, I have workflows and they're stopped whenever somebody responds. This box up here says automatically stop workflow on communication. Normally this is checked. And if it's checked, then when somebody responds, then it's going to stop the workflow. A lot of workflows, people set up these automations because they want to get that response, right? You have a lot of leads coming in, they're new, you haven't yet started a conversation. So a lot of workflows are there to start the conversation, to get the ball rolling. And of course, when you do that, you want to stop trying to start the conversation. That's why we have this box. So if you don't want to do that, you want to send out a monthly newsletter, or you want to have just kind of some updates, some follow-up conversations. Maybe you had a conversation with somebody, you just want to check in. Maybe you have a check-in long-term funnel workflow. Then maybe it's this one here. The next one is this section here, which is called filters. Basically, anytime a lead comes into the system, we can automatically add this workflow onto those leads. So if you've already had this set up, great. Otherwise, you can use these filters to basically say, select by the source that it's coming in as, and you can basically have different workflows for different sources. So you have different workflows for your buyer lead sources or your seller lead sources. Maybe you want to mention if you're buying leads from Zillow or Realtor.com or any other place, and you have a special source for that. Maybe you want to talk to them about the source that they came in on, so you can customize content based on that source. Additionally, you can have it set up for specific agents in your system, so you can have different agents have their own workflows, or you can create general ones across all your agents. So there's some flexibility here for this system. If you don't want to have any automation, you just hit none on both of these. And it's important that you hit none versus any, because those are definitely different. Sometimes the default workflows will have any selected, so just take note of that. Make sure that you have none versus any. As far as additional things you can do here, this system basically works by waiting a certain amount of time and then doing an action, right? So we're going to wait 1 minute, and then we're going to send an email. And then we're going to wait 0 minutes, and at the same time we're going to schedule a follow-up. Then we're going to wait 2 minutes and send an SMS. If you want to edit the message, there's a little edit button here, and you can edit the content. And then if you want to create a new message, then you hit the new button, and you can write your own custom message as well. You can add or delete steps to any workflow, and then the workflow state is a draft or it's published. If it's in draft mode, you can edit it, change it, do whatever you want to. It's not going to impact anything. When you publish it, it'll make it available for any of your agents to add this workflow onto any lead. Questions, comments, concerns so far? Too slow, too fast? Couple questions.
I know with bulk emails and everything that are sent, if videos or links or photos or something that says more likely to go to spam or something like that, is that also the same case with the workflows? If we were to put something in there, are we able to embed video in the workflows?
We can, yeah, absolutely.
So is that the same thing, spam issues and all that?
Yeah, deliverability of both SMS and email, it's a tricky line we ride, right? So sometimes you're more likely to do it, but basically as long as you're delivering great content to people and you're continuing to have people open your messages, we should be okay from a spam perspective.
Is it different from the drip versus bulk?
The drip and the bulk emails send out the same system. So it's the same servers that are sending out the emails. So it is the same.
Because I see that everybody that I send a drip campaign to always gets it and opens it pretty much.
Yeah.
Where my bulk, it's not like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's the way that drip works normally is it's not sending all the emails out at the same time. And so kind of email providers kind of see that as like, oh, that's nice, versus the bulk emails, right? You're sending out to 100, 500, 1,000, 10,000 people at once. And so it's more likely to be considered a spam email than the workflow system. So kind of depending on when things are being sent out, you have more likelihood of being filtered from a messaging standpoint.
Dylan, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like I've experienced that it will give you a notification like, hey, you're sending this to 500 people. This might be marked as spam. Maybe filter it down a little bit and send me 25 at a time. you gotta do a bunch, I can't do math, but you gotta do a bunch then of like 25 segments, but you're more likely to get through past those spam filters.
Yeah.
Is there any aggregate data on the library workflows as far as opening rates or anything like that?
That's a great question. I don't have any on the top of my head, but we can probably find that out. Yeah. A lot of the library content has been there a while too. And so I guess the quick tip here is that the library is sorted in chronological order, the oldest at the top. So the newest templates that have been added are in the bottom. And if you were here last year at the conference, this was Craig Schneider's mega 419-day buyer workflow that he added and talked about at last year's conference. We added it here. And then of course there's been some added since. So we do update this content regularly, so if you want to check out the most fresh things, they're on the bottom of this list. And we do have it on our list to kind of update and refresh a lot of this content as well.
Okay, Dylan, so how can we take things to the next level? Oh wait, we have one more question.
Yeah.
But that's gonna be the next question, is how can we take it to the next level?
All right.
So I just want to clarify on the workflows for the lead source and assigned agent, you want it to be none if these are going to be ones you're adding individually, is that correct?
Yeah, if you're adding it manually, they have to be none.
Okay, and then if you have just an agent, does that mean that anytime that agent gets a new buyer, regardless, it's going to assign it, correct, and start it?
That is correct.
When you're a team member, can you add your own drip campaign, or does the team lead have to do that?
That is a great question. It depends on permissions. So as an admin, you can give people permissions to the workflows, but the workflows there's just one system for workflows. So some team leads give all of their agents access to it, but as an agent, you can edit basically anything in the system. So whoever has access can change anything here. So it depends on kind of who your admin is. Yeah.
Darn, Gibson, John, Ian must not trust us. We don't have access.
Very cool. All right. Well, we can combine a couple things, kind of taking your workflows to the next level. Video messaging, we've heard a couple people talk about it, great success with that. So maybe we'll just take a quick peek about kind of how do we do video messaging and all that kind of good stuff. So within a email, we have a button here on the right side called video. I don't know if you can see that. Let's zoom in. Video. There we go. Yeah, so we have, of course, the normal things for editing email. We have merge fields, so you can, of course, have your first name, the last name, and all that kind of good stuff. You can insert pictures. And video connects to our video messaging system. If you haven't used the RealGeeks video messaging system before, basically you can use the system to record videos either personalized to specific leads or general for anyone. It takes a video of you. You can do it from the app or from your machine, and then we store that video. And when somebody clicks on it, it's going to go to your website. It's hosted on your domain. And you get basically notified, and you can see kind of who's clicked on the videos as well in the activity feeds. And they're a great way to get engagement. And so if you have a general drip or a general video that you want to add here, you can also upload your own videos. So if maybe you have a video of a particular listing and you want to send it out to people who might be interested in that listing, you can upload a listing video and insert videos. So.
For those of you who do videos already, what has been a video topic that has gotten some great response?
Just basic introduction. Video, it's the number one. A lot of people reply with nice touch. Nice to meet you, that kind of stuff. So that's typically when it gets the most response.
Yeah, great. That's so smart, because they put a face to a name and a phone number, so when they see it on the phone, it's not like, oh, this is a spam call. that makes sense. Oh, yeah.
I've messed around with the video stuff, but you said it'll embed within my email that will bring them back to my site.
Yeah.
Can you show that? Can you show us what you're
Sure,
talking
yeah,
about?
we can do the whole flow right now.
Yeah, I interrupted.
So we can name the video, we can save it as test video. Hi, how's it going? Welcome to my site. Glad you're here. Just want to let you know there's a face behind the name. Let me know if you have any questions. My team is here for you. Good to meet you. Say, oh yeah. Oh, I already have a test video. That's the problem. What are you doing?
You didn't stop recording.
Oh, I didn't stop recording. Alright. All good things. Okay, so now it's going in the background, it's creating a screenshot. Boop, there we go. Now we have a video. And it's inserted in here. And you can move it around if you want to, or all good things. And then we can hit send. And we'll see what that video looks like here in a second. Just to also let you know, for videos, you can upload one as well. Browse, if you have a video, you can do that. And we also have a video library. Or we don't. You can create, when you save videos, they go into a video library. So you can select which one you want to do, and then you can insert it like that. You can use this in two ways, right? This is in the workflows. Obviously, you want to have more generalized videos here, introductions to your company, or if you want to send out specific new content to a lot of people, that's great. Also seen a lot of success from people sending out individual videos to individual customers. And one of the best practices that we've seen there is people have little whiteboards, and they write the person's name down on the whiteboard, and then when they start the video, the little whiteboard is the first thing that they see with their name, and so the screenshot in the email will have their name on it. So they're way more likely to click on it if it says, "Hi, John," and it's John. Or if they don't have a name and they just have their email address, they write the email address on there. Hi, some dude 1234 at yahoo.com, and they're way more likely to click on it.
They don't have to sign in and do password and all that.
There's no sign in or password or nothing, no, yeah. Anybody can click on the link, yeah.
So I was using BombBomb, so I don't need to use BombBomb, I can use this now.
You could use this instead of
There's no
BombBomb,
reason
yeah.
to use BombBomb.
Yeah.
And just, these videos are for email, not text.
So they do text messaging. We were talking a little bit about it earlier. So we don't have, it's called MMS, which is a multimedia. So we don't send out pictures or videos out from the system yet.
It's the link.
So it's just a link to the video. It does act in the same way.
He said we can do it from the app.
We have another question over here. Is there a success rate versus the video versus the BombBombs as far as which one gets open more?
Well, they're very similar implementations. I don't know specific, we haven't tested specifically between the two. But, you know, you're sending out a personalized video, you're sending out video messages, so definitely the advantage of this system is it integrates with the automation that we have within the drips and workflows. You can't integrate BombBomb into these unless you are copying and pasting the videos and putting them in, which you could do as well.
Can the videos from the library also go on web pages in the site? Two-part question, and can they be exported to something like a MailChimp newsletter?
That's a great question. I don't think the answer is, I'm not sure. What do you think?
I think yes to the first one. Basically, you would have to embed it like you would an image. So you'd get the URL and just like frame it in with the HTML editor. I don't think so on the MailChimp one, but I'm not 100%.
So with the videos and the drips, whenever you're building these out, so say I have an agent and I want to have all of my agents go in and do an intro video. That's the first email that goes out. would you recommend that they do that on YouTube, or would you recommend they do it on here and then it's the same video that they can add in every time if need be?
If it's the same video you're sending out every single time, then you could add it to the first step in your workflow.
Does that matter if it's recorded on YouTube versus actually recorded in the platform like you just did?
If you set it up, the only benefit of having it through the system is that we will have activities on the leads records to know if they've opened it and if they've watched it. You won't have that if it's a YouTube video, so you won't know if they watched your video. Trying to see if I can find the testing now. I think I'm using a test system, so maybe the email part isn't working.
You're using RGC?
Yeah.
If you uploaded the video instead of,
Oh, I can preview it?
instead of recording it, you could upload a YouTube video and leave it on here, and it'd still be able to see if they open and click.
You could see like the email interaction, but you wouldn't be able to see specifically the video interaction, right? So like with our video system, if they specifically click the video link in your email, we're going to tell you that statistic. Okay, they opened, like in your activity history, it'll say, hey, they opened this video.
You have upload video as one of the tabs on here too, so that's what I'm saying. We're not able to.
So we wouldn't be able to track the YouTube like views basically.
But what if you took the hard file of the video and uploaded it versus the YouTube link?
Oh, the hard file?
Right.
That probably would work.
Yeah, that would work.
I'm a little confused whether you would use record video or upload video.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Both of them will show clicks if you upload a same video or show clicks.
If you're using our video system, whether you've uploaded the video or created the video in the moment, you should be able to track those
So
statistics.
you still have to record it through your system very efficiently.
Right, yeah. So like what she was saying is if they have a video they've already recorded on YouTube and they just upload it as like a new video in our system, it should interact the same way. For your questioning whether you should use pre-recorded or like a in-the-moment video,
No, it was record or upload. Like when would you upload, or uploads for something already existing?
right, exactly, yeah. So if you have like a static video you're gonna reuse, just upload it. But like, you know, with the new lead coming in, if you want to do a quick 10-second, you know, hey, nice to meet you, really great to just record.
You can do that through the app? Video through the app?
Yes.
Okay, everybody followed that dialogue, right? Can y'all hear? Okay, great. I got a good no, so I'm glad everybody here. Okay.
Just to repeat, I think some of the conversations. When would you use record a new video or upload one? Basically, if you have a video that you want to send out, you should upload it. If you already have it, you can. If you have a video on YouTube that you already have, you can download that and upload it into the Real Geeks platform. You don't have to create fresh new content. If you want to create a new video, obviously, if you want to do something a little personal, a little scrappy, which a lot of people resonate with, then record it. You can do that. You can record it, one video, and send it out to a lot of people through the workflow system. Or you can send one-off video emails and record those with the whiteboard best practice as well if you want to do that. I think that's good. Anything else on video messaging?
A quick question. You're talking about a literal whiteboard, not something.
Correct.
Like a literal whiteboard, yeah. Like you're holding the whiteboard, and the whiteboard is better than a piece of paper because it's greener. You can erase it and then put another name on it, rather than scrapping paper.
Okay, so everybody feels about adding videos into their mix, into their drip campaigns, into their all their things? Great.
Cool. I think that's it on workflows. Any other questions just in general about workflows?
Yeah.
I'm not very loud, so I'll make my remarks. So mine's related to the workflow. We've been using reactive responses a lot.
Yeah.
So the issue that we're seeing is we have the workflow automatically subscribed, and then once we've made contact, then they'll go back on and search, and then they get a reactive response, and we look really stupid. It's just like, hey, you have time to talk, and I just talked to them 5 minutes ago.
Right.
So, so what I've been doing is just going in and opting out of text messaging, which is a workaround. And is there a better way?
There is. So we did talk about this. Yeah. So there's actually, I'm going to probably steal a little bit of Kevin's thunder. There's 2 new things with reactive responses. So act surprised when he says it on stage. Today or tomorrow. We all are asking about it. We're in the intermediate session. We're all friends here. So there's 2 things for reactive responses. One of them is, well, just if you don't know what it is, I'll explain to you. So basically, this is one of the major reasons why you want to have a website attached to a CRM is to automate based on activity, right? So we have basically set up some automations for texting, and the new thing now is, and also email, to get a response from people or to identify when people are likely ready to start buying again. So basically we have these triggers that we have. If they favorite a property, visit the website very, very frequently, visit the same property a bunch of times, come back to the website after being inactive, really engaging with the home valuation experience or the market report experience. We have these kind of pre-canned messages for texting and then now also email to get them to engage with you. So rather than sending you a notification, which you probably get a whole bunch of, and then you missing that notification and not responding to that person, we can automatically send a response and get the conversation flowing in the right direction. So that's why we have it. The way the system works is obviously it's kind of all on or all off, which I think we've heard some. It'd be nice to be able to turn it off for some people as well. Right now what we're going to be doing is also adding email to the mix. So if for some reason the text didn't get delivered or it's a bad phone number, then we also send up a backup email to the person as well, again, trying to get that response. That's what reactive responses is. You can turn on and off specific ones. So if you're seeing that some of these messages are hurting more than helping, then you can toggle them off. And that's what this left side is here. And if you want to preview the content of the message, that's this right side. Any questions just about reactive responses?
Can you toggle them per agent?
You cannot toggle them per agent. Right now it's per system.
But not per lead yet.
Can we edit these?
Right. No, he's gonna get it. He's gonna get it.
That's next step. That's
like a big thing for me.
Can we edit these?
We cannot edit these today.
Will we be able to in the future?
We are looking into this, yes.
Okay, did I miss one? Sorry.
Okay, we know why reactive responses, we know how. If you click on these links over here, you can read the message. You're probably seeing these messages go out in your system if they're already on. All good things. Of course, what if, as a lead, I don't want to send these out to a specific lead anymore? Now we're getting into the system itself. The contrast is not coming up very well on the screen up there, but there is a background color. Let's see, I don't think I'm in the right one. Try this one. Yeah. It will be in the bottom right where you have opt-outs. You'll have reactive responses.
It doesn't show up on mine. So it's not currently enabled for our live sites yet, but we're in the process of enabling it. Dylan's trying to pull up one of our test CRMs to show you.
I was trying to show up a test one, but this is where it'll live. It'll live right here. It's coming very soon, and you just click that button. So if you have the workaround of text messaging turned off, then you won't have to do that.
That is the best workaround right now then, is to just opt out of text messaging.
Right. Or if you notice that like some of the messages are being sent out too frequently, you could just toggle the whole message off. You don't have to toggle all of them off, but you could toggle one of them. But it will be right here, coming soon.
So does that mean they won't be able to get any text, like even a direct text or?
So right now, we kind of have texting on, off, and then yes, that impacts workflows and direct text messages. And then by the end of this week, it will be reactive responses will be in this list here. And you'll be able to toggle it off for specific people.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Again, act surprised when they say it on stage.
Okay. But yay!
Yay!
Is there a workaround to get text messaging for, like, I do C-Buy, right? And I have Robin, but Robin does not talk to those people at all.
Is there, yeah, so the question, again, talking to automation, there's a few different ways that we automate stuff at Real Geeks. So we talked about workflows, we talked about the reactive responses. The third piece of automation, which is actually an add-on product that we have, is called our AI product. Some people like to call this Robin. And let me see if I can. RJ example out there. Basically, it is a SMS-based assistant. And if you have Robin enabled, there's a new tab called Geek AI. That's what it's called. Basically, it has a conversation for you on your behalf 24/7 a day, 24 days a week, 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, all sorts of great stuff. It will always have a conversation with the lead, and it kind of replaces the text message workflows that you would have today. And basically, the Robin's goal is to get an appointment scheduled for you on your behalf without you having to send or reply to any text messages. It's very cool. It is an add-on product. It's about $200 a month retail. If you're using our lead products, it's half off. We do sometimes run some promotions for that, and it kind of is an alternate for reactive responses and workflows to get people to respond, and then it'll have back and forth conversations with leads as well. So it's our AI product. It has been very successful in terms of scheduling appointments for people. It works about 3% of the time. It will schedule an appointment without you doing anything. So you will go through and kind of see the inbound messages, and it'll have an appointment there for you, saying, "Oh, this person wants to connect, tomorrow afternoon." So it's a very nifty time saver for busy agents who are off to doing other things like showing homes and having appointments. Any questions about AI?
I'm curious.
Well, yeah, we'll use the
Then
mic.
it'll come next.
Is there a way to toggle that? Because I did it for a few months, and my biggest thing was I want to shut up sometimes because it just goes too far.
Yeah.
Or I want to, you get the notification that you might want to reach out, touch, or whatever it says.
Yeah.
It continues, it's continuing to say stuff, and it starts to look real gibberish as it goes. I wish we were able to push a button to turn it off.
You can. There is a button to push turn it off. I'll show what that looks like. So let's see if we can find some. Let's see. Hopefully we'll. Awesome. If you're not using this is advanced filters, and you can filter by all sorts of things. So maybe I'll just talk through what I just did here. For the AI, we have specific filters set up. And what I'm doing is I'm adding a new custom filter that is, AI is active. These are active AI conversations. And what you can do is you can hit advanced filters, and then the first one here is AI assistant is active, and then we also have the AI assistant stage, which is kind of where are they progressing in the conversation. And starting with a new, unresponsive yet, or all the way to it's an agent ready lead. But what I did was look for all of the true active conversations, and I saved that filter. And so now if I want to see all the leads in my system that are actively having an AI conversation, I can see these ones. So there's a bunch. So what I found is kind of the fastest way to do this is to open up the SMS window right from here, hit the SMS button for Dave Ott. I can see this, and if I'm like, oh no, this conversation isn't going very well, this right here, stop assistant. I hit this button, and then now AI is off. No more messages for this person.
Do that from the app though? I don't think
You can do that from the app as well. Yeah. Also, if you respond to this person, if you start the conversation, if you continue this conversation, AI will stop. So those are two ways to turn off the AI for a conversation, manually or this. So like if you call them and you get a hold of them and you want Robin to stop, just push the stop assistant button or send a text, thanks for the call, and then Robin will stop.
Is this system always improving, the artificial intelligence? Is it getting smarter? Is it taking information from your leads? And oh, I'm sorry, I interrupted.
No, you're good.
She's had the same question as you.
That
So
was
y'all
gonna
are
be
reading
my
just
question.
fine.
That was the question. Yes. So is AI getting smarter? Ooh, scary. The answer is yes and no. So the way that this AI works is that we have a set of kind of script responses for this specific AI that we have been testing out over the course of years from actual conversations from real estate agents, and we craft the message based on the response that the lead is getting. And so we are constantly kind of tweaking the responses and messages that we're getting for this AI. But the artificial intelligence piece is to know which puzzle pieces we have to put together the right message to send back to the lead to get them to move to the next step. So that's the way that this particular AI works. If you're reading the news, you're hearing a lot about ChatGPT. The way that AI works is a lot different. So we control basically all the messaging that Robin is going to be sending out here in this one. ChatGPT is constructing the message on the fly. We don't know exactly what it's going to say until it actually comes back with a response. A lot of times it's going to be pretty close right there. But there are, of course, pros and cons with using that kind of language model versus a decision tree model. So we have a little bit more control over kind of this what Robin is going to say versus if you're using kind of a chat GPT. You have a little less control over the actual output and your outcomes. So that answers your question, which is it getting smarter? The answer is yes. We review these messages, we review conversations where things went awry. We're constantly making tweaks to our algorithms to make sure that we're choosing the right responses. So like if somebody says, I'm moving because there's a death in the family, we don't want her to say, great! Right? We're going to say, I'm so sorry for your loss. And so those are kind of unforeseen responses, things that maybe the programmer didn't choose at the very beginning. So we definitely want to make those improvements, and we are. So if you're using the program, you see a funky response, just let us know, and we can tweak the content going forward. That's how this is learning. This is us actually learning and implementing those learnings for the algorithm. And yeah, there you go. Hopefully it was a brief history, of course, on AI and how they work.
Not really a question. I was just going to say that I tried Robin when it first came out.
Yeah.
And at first I thought it was good, and then I had a few things kind of like, where it was like totally inappropriate. So I stopped, waited a little while, started again, let it go longer, and I did like it, but then there was a few other issues. So that was my question was, you guys you didn't just turn it on and let it sit. You're constantly working.
No, yeah, the feedback we get, we meet regularly with the team that is helping us with the scripting and this kind of stuff. So it's constantly improving. So this is a different product than when it first launched. If you are an early adopter, this is a lot
And even
better.
in the last year, it's probably been a year.
Then yes, absolutely, yeah. We're constantly making updates. And I think from a best practice standpoint, this is not a set it and forget it tool. This is not a replacement for an agent.
Right.
This is a stopgap until you're ready to have a conversation, right? So you should not be using this of like, I'm just going to let Robin run with it and just wait. No, this is okay, I'm ready and available now. I got the 5 minutes to actually continue this conversation. I'm gonna make the phone call. Let's stop Robin. And, and then we got to do our job as far as, building that relationship with the person. So.
Just the quick outreach, it did make a difference. It was just every now and then, a stupid response.
Right.
So this is really a step up from reactive responses. So you wouldn't have reactive response, because reactive responses, it's coming from me, where this looks like it's coming from.
This is coming, this looks like, from an optics perspective, this is coming from your assistant. Yes. The reactive responses are coming from the assigned agent, actually. So if you're the only system, person on the platform, it's coming from you. If you have a team, it's coming from whoever the agent is assigned to. That's kind of the major difference there. And then with AI, what we do, we don't just like have all the text messages going out. AI is taking precedent over other responses. So we mute the other ones. So if AI is active and having the conversation, we're not going to send out workflow messages. We're not going to send out reactive responses. AI is in control.
Great.
Dylan, I think there were a couple buttons that you were going to show people from our earlier questions. Have we hit them all, or do we still have buttons to show?
I think we showed them. Did I miss a button? One button. Which one was it?
We had two things there. One was in reference to the system stopping before it ever really starts, saying that somebody is unresponsive. And the second part was how to get to the notes that you've made in a lead.
Perfect.
Without having to scroll through 50 properties that you first.
Okay. So, if you are on the new view, which if you've signed up any time in the past year, you probably go to a lead record and it looks something like this. On the top right here, we have this pin. So I'm going to scroll down here because I really like that he opened this email. I'm going to pin it. And when I pin it, it's at the top. So now no matter what happens with the contact record, this activity is always going to be in the top. And it makes a little section here, pinned. So now you can expand or contract it.
Can you just click the note tab at the top, right above that? Because you can see the calls. Yeah, you can just click that, and that'll bring up all your notes that you've ever had for that conversation.
You can also do this and filter by different activities, for calls, emails, notes. That's also, you can do that. But you can pin any type of activity you want. So you can pin a note activity, or you can pin what I did, which is just an email sent activity. So whatever is important to you, you can pin it, and it's always at the top. In addition to that, if there's important things that you want to keep track of, we also have an important notes section as well. This is also always available at the top, kind of at the profile level of the lead. And so you can add important notes into this section, and that way it will never get lost in the activity feed if you unpin it or whatever. So you can also take advantage of this one, and you can type in a whole bunch of stuff in here if you want to.
You can arrange those sections, right?
Yes, absolutely. And if you were, part of our beta, you gave us the feedback, I don't like your ordering, I want to order it myself. So we made these little reordering things, and so now we can change the order to whatever you like. If you really like source and you want that to be at the top, you just kind of move it around. And if different agents can have different orders, it's not a one-size-fits-all thing.
Just super quick with what y'all can add at the top. Are y'all going to add a favorites, like the properties they've favorited, where we can click on that at any point?
This little part here, favorites. Properties they've favorited.
So if we don't have that, they haven't favorited any properties then?
If there is no heart at the top of your list, there is no favorites to be had.
And I think the second half of Brian, right? Yeah, Brian's question is with the unresponse, the automatic unresponse shut off. Is there a way to work around that?
Great question. Brendan?
So I just want to clarify on
my question.
So are you meaning that you've got a lead that is new in the system, you've attempted to send a text or an email, and it wasn't able to deliver, and therefore you're seeing a message that it was not able to continue?
What we're seeing is get a new lead, set it up in workflows, and next morning we're getting notification that that lead has been unresponsive too long and it's getting nothing. Everything's turned off. And that's what it's called. It's unresponsive or unengaged.
It's unengaged.
I was trying to piece together and unengaged, okay. So, this is in drip emails specifically, right?
Workflows.
Workflows, okay. So in our workflows, really anything drip, so e-blast or workflows, if you have an email that is not getting delivered by the carrier, we'll usually unengage it because it's just, they're not going to get throughput, right? The alternative reason would be it's somebody that's been on your website for a period of time and has received a lot of email content from you and never actually interacted with it. So once we see non-interaction, we're slowly over time going to reduce the frequency we send those communications until a full stop point. So if you're seeing some leads are fully unengaged, they've likely been on the website for, I'm trying to remember the exact cadence, I want to say 6 to 12 months, and have never opened an email, and that's why that's happening.
You referenced if it's undeliverable, it's doing that also. Is there a way to separate that out so we know was it undeliverable, or is it system stopped because of leak and packet?
Yeah, so in the lead history, if it's undeliverable, it should tell you explicitly that the message failed to be delivered, in which point we'll essentially shut it off right away. In drip specifically, I don't believe it does tell you that differentiation. I'm not 100% on that.
It does not, because that's where we've got the problem.
Yeah, but most likely what you're experiencing are past leads in the system that just have not been engaging with your email content. So like, as a live example, I have a saved search on Todd Tramonte's site. I just have it set up because I do a lot of testing, right? I haven't interacted with that one in some time. So it used to be daily, now I get it once a month, right? So over time, my saved searches have moved from daily to weekly to monthly in that specific system, and eventually theirs will just no longer deliver to me unless I click an email or visit the website again, where it restarts.
And I think to reinforce the why, I think we've been saying it a couple times, is deliverability, right? So making sure that all your emails get delivered is very important. And so this is, probably going out the gates, there was a problem where like 50% of emails got delivered, and so we had to put in some gates to ensure that we're protecting all the messages getting sent out, the important ones as well as kind of the regular content. And so that's kind of why we implement some of these rules to make sure that we're continuing to deliver the right messaging from email providers, and also can have the biggest impacts on the one-off emails that you're trying to send without a transaction that you're in there. So we're protecting the important emails by doing this.
So I want to piggyback off of his stuff. Now he just made me realize it's not so much the new leads that we're having those problems with, the ones that haven't been on there for a while and never reacted. Two things. I have one called a drip campaign that I made for re-engaging for those clients that got on site 4 or 5 years ago. I still have their information, and he was sent out and it's not deliverable. And two, I've got past clients where we downloaded our past clients from years past, 20 years or so. A lot of them haven't been on the site for any reason, for whatever, but we'll send stuff to the past clients and it's not deliverable too because they maybe I sent a drip campaign out and they've been on the site for 5 years, 4 years.
Yeah.
And so because they have never interacted or whatever, they're not getting that delivery as well. I didn't know why.
Yeah.
What's the workaround for that?
That's a good question. Is there a workaround right now today?
I didn't realize my past clients weren't getting the things that I wanted my past clients to get.
Yeah.
Right? So it's kind of...
It's a slippery slope, right? Because on one hand, we want to be able to communicate with as many people as we can.
But on the other hand, we want to make sure that the people we're communicating with want to be communicated with, right? Because if they don't, that's where we get into trouble where we start to see messages not delivered for people that should be receiving them, right? So in instances, especially with past clients or from past databases, that's where we'll see this creep up as a potential problem most often. So you're definitely not alone in that experience. What I typically tell people is if you're uploading a list of past clients that have not signed up on your website, they haven't given that consent yet, the first email essentially counts as that consent ask. So the first reach out that they interact with, you're going to be good to go until they start to hit those kind of cadence thresholds. If they don't interact off the bat, we can't reliably continue to send them messages without risking your domain's ability to deliver to others. So this is a long-winded way of saying you can't really work around that effectively without risking your domain's deliverability across the board.
When I send it from my email that's linked,
one-offs like that will work better. The drip system, anything coming out of workflow or eBlast that comes from our server side with your domain, that's where you're going to have these potential risks.
yeah, I mean, I have them. I'm trying to figure a workaround because I don't like that.
I wish there was a better.
Yeah, that's what CRM scores for your past clients, so not to be able to see what you're sending out.
A workaround, a little bit of having our database pulled into a constant contact, doing a monthly newsletter with a link that brings them back to the website if we want to participate. And then that way they can re-engage through the website. So we've done that.
Having some way to get them back to the website is always going to be your best bet. Because once they hit the site, or even just open an email generated from the site, they're back in good graces.
So you're talking individually.
For people who can't hear, because
I need to send them one thing and
yeah,
you can do it from another system.
If you have unengaged leads, we're talking about workarounds for the CRM. If they are unengaged, basically using another system like a constant contact or a MailChimp to send out links back to your website. And once the people engage with your website, then they become engaged.
I would still have to do it individually though, because I want them to have their login and their password would be different from each of them.
So you can generate what's called a login link for each individual lead, right? But it's like the same.
It's the same what we call merge field, right? So if you have that login link set, you should be good to go to use that outside of
I just wanted to know if there's is there a way for us to know which of our leads are unengaged? I thought, because I was wondering about this a couple years ago, and then I just kind of forgot.
I believe we are implementing that, but it is not currently
Really
implemented.
have a ton.
Yeah, we are looking at doing opt-outs. I think there's a difference between opt-outs versus unengaged. Yeah.
Well, isn't there a way when you look at your workflows or your e-blasts that get sent out, you can see which ones don't, or which ones are going, which ones don't, and if you click into it, you can then see the list.
But not if they're not.
If they're not engaged.
So you're saying click on each lead individually and you can see if they're no longer engaged or if they're unengaged?
So we've done it where we've clicked into it. Off your e-blast, you can see how many are delivered, how many aren't delivered.
And then when you have the undelivered, you can see who's on that list. Am I wrong?
Something like this, right? I'm just trying to.
This is a different view than if you have the old view.
Is this different? Okay.
Is there a way to have them automatically tagged if it's undeliverable or unresponsive or whatever?
Yeah, I think we could look into that. I mean, I'm hearing,
Unengaged.
yeah, finding out who is unengaged is important. So yeah, I think we could figure out a way to make that happen.
I think we need to know who,
Yeah.
I'm sure I have hundreds, if not thousands of leads that are unengaged.
we can do that.
Okay, that's another benefit of having these breakout sessions is because they can take feedback back and start working on new and fantastic things. So thank you, Dylan Brandon, for being here and answering all the questions and helping with that. Thank you all for participating. That always helps.